Beneath the ancient waters of the Euphrates lies a terrifying secret, a prophecy hidden in the pages of Scripture, a horrifying warning of four fallen angels, bound in chains awaiting their moment of release. Who are these beings? Why did God imprison them? And most importantly, what will happen when they are finally set free? Revelation chapter 9 verse 14 to 15 warns us, "Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates, and they were prepared for this very hour, day, month, and year, to kill a third of mankind." Are we standing on the edge of this prophecy? Could their release be near? Stay tuned as we uncover the mystery of the four fallen angels beneath the Euphrates. Welcome to Bible Stories channel. If you love deep biblical mysteries and hidden truths, be sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Now let's begin. The Euphrates River, one of the oldest and most significant rivers in human history. It stretches over 1,700 miles, flowing through the lands of modern-day Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. But beyond its geographical importance, the Euphrates holds a deep prophetic mystery, a mystery that has remained sealed for centuries. Throughout the Bible, the Euphrates is more than just a river. It is a boundary between nations, between civilizations, and between the forces of heaven and the powers of darkness. It was near these waters that the first great kingdom, Babylon, rose to power. It was here that God's judgment fell upon empires. And it is here, beneath these very waters, that something terrifying has been hidden, waiting. Revelation chapter 9 verse 14 to 15 reveals a haunting prophecy. "Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates, and they were prepared for this very hour, day, month, and year to kill a third of mankind." Four powerful angels, imprisoned, restrained by God Himself. Who are they? Why have they been kept here for thousands of years? And when they are finally released, what destruction will follow? This prophecy stands among the most mysterious in all of Scripture. Unlike the fallen angels who were cast out of heaven, these four were bound, specifically at the Euphrates. Some believe they were ancient rulers of darkness, locked away to prevent unimaginable chaos. Others see them as part of God's divine plan for the end times, destined to fulfill a final act of judgment. As the Euphrates River begins to dry in our time, could this be the sign that their release is near? Join me as we uncover the truth about the four fallen angels and the prophecy that could soon unfold before our very eyes. To understand who these four fallen angels are, we must go back to the very beginning, to a time before the flood, a time when the heavens and the earth were not as separate as we know them today. Genesis chapter 6 verses 2 to 4 tell us, "The sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took them as wives. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, when the sons of God went to the daughters of men and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown." The sons of God, a phrase used to describe divine beings, descended to the earth. They saw human women and desired them, and so they took them, breaking the divine order. The result? The Nephilim, giants, mighty beings with corrupted souls, spreading sin and violence across the world. This act of defiance angered God, and judgment was inevitable. But this story does not end here. The book of Enoch, an ancient text referenced throughout biblical times, provides deeper insight. It speaks of 200 angels known as the Watchers, beings who were meant to observe, not interfere. Yet they did. Led by a powerful figure, they descended upon Mount Hermon, swearing an oath to take human wives. They taught forbidden knowledge, sorcery, weapon-making, astrology, and in doing so, they corrupted mankind beyond redemption. God's judgment was swift. According to Enoch, many of these angels were cast into a prison of darkness, bound in chains beneath the earth, awaiting their final punishment. Jude chapter 1 verse 6 confirms this. "And the angels who did not keep their positions of authority but abandoned their proper dwelling, these He has kept in darkness, bound with everlasting chains for judgment." But what if four of these angels were not simply imprisoned, but given a special sentence, a sentence different from the rest? The Bible tells us that four of them were bound, not in the abyss, but at the great river Euphrates. Could these be the commanders of the rebellion, the most dangerous of the fallen watchers? Unlike the others, they are not just restrained, they are awaiting an appointed time, a divine hour, a day, a moment when they will be unleashed. And when that day comes, their mission is clear, to bring destruction upon the earth. But why were they bound in this specific location, and what does their release mean for the future? The rebellion of the Watchers was not just an act of defiance, it was a corruption of God's creation. These fallen beings introduced forbidden knowledge, leading mankind into a downward spiral of sin, violence, and chaos. The earth, once pure, had become a breeding ground for wickedness, and so God's judgment came swiftly, not just upon mankind, but upon the angels who caused this corruption. The book of Enoch, an ancient text that expands on Genesis, records God's decree. In the first Enoch chapter 10 verses 4 to 6, the archangel Raphael is commanded, "Bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is in Dudal, and cast him therein, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever." This was the fate of the Watchers, cast into prisons beneath the earth, their power sealed away. But four of the most dangerous, were given a different punishment. They were bound at the great river Euphrates, held there for a purpose that has yet to be fulfilled. And then judgment fell upon the world. Genesis chapter 6 verse 5 tells us, "The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time." God decided to wipe the slate clean. The flood of Noah was not just a punishment, it was a divine reset. The Nephilim, the offspring of these rebellious angels, were destroyed. The knowledge they had given to humanity was washed away, and the world was given a second chance. But despite this cleansing, the four angels remained, sealed beneath the Euphrates, waiting. Why did God choose to bind these four angels, rather than cast them into the abyss like the others? Could their power be too great? Were they meant to serve a greater purpose in the final days? The answer lies in a prophecy that has yet to unfold. Their release is not a possibility, it is a certainty. And when the appointed time comes, their chains will break and the world will never be the same again. For thousands of years, these four fallen angels have remained bound beneath the Euphrates River, waiting for their moment. But the Bible tells us that one day, the wait will be over, their chains will be broken, and when they rise again, the world will tremble. Revelation chapter 9 verses 13 to 15 gives us a horrifying prophecy. "The sixth angel sounded his trumpet, and I heard a voice coming from the four horns of the golden altar that is before God. It said to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, 'Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates.' And the four angels who had been kept ready for this very hour and day and month and year were released to kill a third of mankind." When these angels are set free, destruction follows. But they do not rise alone. They command an army. Revelation chapter 9 verse 16 tells us, "The number of the mounted troops was twice 10,000 times 10,000. I heard their number. That is 200 million, a force beyond human comprehension, a legion of destruction. What is this army? Could it be a supernatural force, a demonic horde unleashed upon the world in the final days? Or is this a symbolic prophecy, one tied to a great war that is yet to come? Many scholars have debated this mystery for centuries. But here's where things become even more mysterious. The Euphrates River, the very place where these angels are bound, is changing. This mighty river, mentioned over and over in the Bible, is now drying up. And this is no coincidence. In recent years, reports have emerged of the Euphrates shrinking at an alarming rate. Some claim that this is due to climate change. Others blame political conflicts over water supply. But could there be something far more biblical at play? Revelation chapter 16 verse 12 tells us, "The sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east." Could this be the first sign? Are we witnessing the first cracks in their prison? And if so, how close are we to the day when these four angels will rise again? The answer may be closer than we think. The chains will break. The four fallen angels will be released. Destruction will follow. But their reign of terror will not last forever. The Bible tells us that in the end, all evil will face its final judgment. As chaos spreads across the earth, another battle looms. A final war between the forces of darkness and the armies of heaven. But this war will not last long, for God himself will bring judgment. Revelation chapter 20, verses 1-3 gives us a glimpse of what is to come. Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, holding in his hand the key to the abyss and a great chain. He seized the dragon, that ancient serpent, who is the devil, and bound him for 1,000 years. He threw him into the abyss and locked and sealed it over him, to keep him from deceiving the nations anymore until the 1,000 years were ended. Just as the watchers were bound in the days of Noah, Satan himself will be imprisoned. And what of the four fallen angels? Their fate is sealed as well, for after the final battle, after their last rebellion, they will be cast into the lake of fire. Revelation chapter 20 verse 10 declares, "And the devil who deceived them was thrown into the lake of burning sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet had been thrown. They will be tormented day and night forever and ever." This is the ultimate punishment, not just for Satan, but for every fallen angel who stood against God. But what about us? If these powerful beings could fall, what hope do we have? The answer lies in God's promise to his people. Psalm chapter 91, verse 11 gives us reassurance. "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." We are not alone in this battle. God's angels fight for us. His power protects us. And no matter how dark the world becomes, no force of evil can stand against the Almighty. The mystery remains. Somewhere beneath the Euphrates River, four powerful fallen angels are still bound in chains. But the Bible tells us that one day, at God's appointed time, they will be released. And when that day comes, the world will witness events unlike anything seen before. Are we living in the days leading to their release? The Euphrates is drying up. The world is in turmoil. Prophecies from ancient times seem closer than ever. The Bible warns us to stay vigilant, to remain strong in faith, and to trust in God's divine plan. What do you think? Could these angels be released soon? Are we approaching the final days foretold in Revelation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the Bible's most mysterious prophecies, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more incredible biblical revelations. Your support helps us continue exploring these powerful stories. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.